Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butz, get big or get out.
You know, it's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize like, wow, like this piece of legislation, all this money, like it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.
You're listening to Heritage Radio Network. HRN is food radio supported by you. Learn more at heritageradionetwork.org.
This episode is brought to you by Wisconsin Cheese. We've been making cheese in Wisconsin since before we were even a state, which may be one reason why we win so many awards for it. It's what happens when a whole state dreams in cheese. Find your next favorite cheese at wisconsincheese.com.
Welcome to Spill and Dish, a new podcast from the Specialty Food Association. Founded in 1952, SFA is the leading trade association and source of information about the $194 billion specialty food industry. We champion the food producers, retailers, and other buyers who make up the specialty food world. If you want to know more about membership, visit specialtyfood.com. While on the site, check out the new Maker Prep course, a 12-step online program that will teach you how to take your specialty food product to the next level. In each episode, we want to share the stories behind the products made and sold by our members, who are helping to shape the future of food. You can listen and discover the inspiration, recipe, craft, culture, ingredients, and production methods that help answer the question, what makes specialty food special? I'm today's host, George Hajar, Associate Editor at SFA. We're excited to bring you today's episode and so happy to be working with Heritage Radio Network, a nonprofit podcast network covering the world of food, drink, and agriculture, and expanding the way eaters think about food. We are joined today by our guests, Nanette and Valentine Humer of Food and Vine Inc., the company that brings Salute and Santé grapeseed oils. The oil is made from upcycled, non-GMO grape seeds from Napa, Italy, and Portugal. Welcome. We're so excited to have you on the show.
We're very excited to be here too, and we are very excited after 30 years of trying to pioneer this grapeseed oil industry to have won the Gold Sophie for our cold-pressed grapeseed oil. Mm-hmm. What an honor, and it's wonderful to be recognized for quality that we've been pushing until we got to this level where we are recognized amongst all the olive oils and many other oils as a category and an ingredient that we've been promoting and working on for so long.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. So let's dive right into it. Can you tell us a little bit about the process of extracting the oils from the seeds?
Absolutely. When we started the company, at that time, grapeseed oil was actually a solvent-extracted product and mostly imported from all over the world, typically around countries that have wine regions. And I was fortunate enough early on when we had this idea of making grapeseed oil a new product in this country to be inspired by some of the best chefs in the world. And I can proudly say it's a chef-inspired product. It was the late Jean-Louis Paladin who planted the seed. And he called his friend Jean-Georges Van Gerichten and Daniel Boulou to create a taste panel to make the best grapeseed oil. Unfortunately, there was no cold pressing facility, nor any machines to make cold pressed grapeseed oil. Mm-hmm. So it was a tough road to get to the point to actually make a cold pressed grapeseed oil. So Nanette and I, we met in New York, and Nanette is, if you want to jump in, the design part of the whole aspect. And
well, 1990, we had this great idea that we'll go to Napa, and they have all these grapes. They're making wonderful wine. They'll make wonderful grapeseed oil. Well, it wasn't as easy as we thought. So it took us till 2010 to really start pressing local seeds. Along the way, we had our family, we started a life. But once we started pressing, we thought this is like a natural. And when you first showed it to Jean-Louis, he ripped open his shirt, rubbed it all over his body, and was like, said a few things I can't repeat here, but he was like very impressed and loved it. And we've slowly been trying to bring, our grapeseed oils, the ones that we produce locally in Napa, as well as our infused oils and our core products that are made in the wine regions in Europe, in Italy and Portugal, to market to the best chefs. And we're proud to say that we have our original taste panel from Jean-Georges and Daniel Ballou to wonderful new chefs that enjoy our oils. And we ship to them every week.
That's great.
What sets us apart really is also the fact that we are cold pressing grapeseed and the fact that we are not needing any extra farmland, water, chemicals, fertilizers. It's actually 100% upcycled from wine industry waste. And most important, no GMO crop. And people think it's just any other oil, but it's really not. It's actually an oil made from the seed of the grape, and the grape is actually a fruit. And it boils down to the where it's coming from. And so the fruit oils on the market today are becoming a very important factor in our food. And if you compare it with olive oil, if you compare it with avocado oil, grape seed oil should actually be called just grape oil. And but amongst all those fruit oils, it is the lowest in saturated fat. It is the highest in essential fatty acid. The essential fatty acids are the ones that are the building block for the cell metabolism. They give you the energy, they're the life force energy. So if you look at all the different oils out there, and unfortunately seed oils have been becoming a bad rap in the industry because most of them are made from genetically modified seed crop. We're the actual opposite. We're coming from a fruit. And it's
recycled.
It's recycled, it's upcycled. It's the botanical source where it's coming from what counts. So we're trying to create an industry that's healthy eating, that's easy, that's delicious. Most foods that are delicious are not exactly always good for you. Here we have a winning combination. It's delicious, it's healthy, it's easy, and we're so grateful to be in the best kitchens, from Thomas Keller to Jean-Georges, and they can choose anything they want. They choose Salute Santé, which actually means to your health in French and Italian.
That's great. And yeah, you spoke a lot about the social consciousness that is endemic to the company, about it being upcycled, and also that the packaging is made with sustainability in mind too. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yes. So from day one, we wanted to have a product that's packaged in a way where they both work together, socially responsible and sustainably, or as sustainable as possible. So when we introduced the first bottle of oil, most people really, they have a generic bottle and the light goes through it and the glass doesn't protect the oil from UV light. So I figured let us just make something that's different, that's readily available, but also has many other benefits. So we came out with a steel can. And the steel can, instead of slapping a label on it, again, with glue and adhesives that are not good for the environment, we actually had the steel plate printed directly at our factory. And we rolled this steel can into a packaging that is now still today one of the leading packaging. And now everyone is trying to copy it, but that's flattering, that's okay. But
we won a Sophie for that. And
we actually won a Sophie for our packaging way back when we came out with that can. And it does protect the grapeseed oil from the light. It protects it from the oxygen, keeps it fresh much longer than any plastic packaging. Also, if you compare this as far as what you can do with the packaging after you recycle it, steel can go back into iron ore 100%. So our steel can that's on the table here may have been a steel can before, who knows? We also have a food service packaging which is developed where we stepped away from the generic 1 gallon HDPE plastic. That is very difficult to recycle. It does not protect the oil from light. Oxygen goes in and out. And actually, oil is a kind of a solvent that leaches the plastic ingredients into the food. So we moved away from that and developed a packaging made with recycled PET. And then we incorporated actually also a UV filter. So now this is for food service, we have a larger packaging format. We have 4 by 1 gallon and 3 by 5 liter made with recycled PET. And that's the easiest recyclable material because it's a #1 recycle logo on it. And then after the use, you can just step on it, make it flat, and go straight into reproduction of making more PET products out of it. So we're very proud to have that new on board. With that technology, we also increased our capacities for transportation. Because when you think about it, a truck holds a pallet of whatever product that goes on there. We've just increased that capacity by 33%. And by adding recycled PET from the get-go, when we're doing this filling and packaging, we reduced our carbon footprint by 33%. And
increased the capacity on a pallet from 60 cases to 80 cases, which from a price point, during the pandemic and even up until recently, prices for transportation and packaging materials just went through the roof. So a customer can get 80 cases for the price that they're paying for 60. So it makes everybody happy from that point.
So in a nutshell, if you look at our retail packaging, which is in cans, in bottles, and our food service packaging, which is in recycled PET, we've really thought through everything. The packaging outside then is 100% recycled cardboard that can be recycled again. And what's inside the packaging is upcycled from the wine industry. And when we do the pressing, which is actually a cold pressing, we're not doing any expeller pressing. That's a high heat extraction. It's very difficult for grapeseed because they're extremely hard. And we also have stepped away from doing solvent extraction. And 99% of all grapeseed oils, or the typical vegetable oils, are solvent extracted in these days, which only serves the bottom line, but it doesn't serve our health. And it's sure not the quality of the oil, and the taste and the nutritional value suffers a great portion. So we are 100% cold pressed grapeseed oil and nothing else. And so we have a product that's upcycled. The packaging meets all the sustainable talking points, and we are very proud of that.
Yeah, that's good.
From the health point of view, which you just talked about a little bit, it was the innate health benefits of grapeseed oil that really made us feel we have to bring this to market and make people aware that by changing their oil, because we don't regulate fats and oils in America, unfortunately, and that means that you don't know what you're getting in some bottles. So all these steps that we take to assure the customer gets a quality product, the grapeseed oil has been shown to raise good cholesterol, lower bad, and triglycerides, which means it's an oil that's going to help your body do its job, and is high in essential fatty acids at the same time.
Great. Thank you so much for all that information. I know that you also create other products like the grapeseed flour and flavored oils. Can you tell us a little bit about them as well?
Sure. The nice thing about making the grapeseed oil with the cold pressing method, which is a process that's a proprietary process we developed. It took us 15 years to make presses strong enough, and we're now pressing at 8,000 pounds of pressure, seed against seed, where this delicious and healthful oil comes out. And it comes out only very small amounts. You're basically looking at maybe a 10% oil yield. And then the remaining portion is pressed cake, or we call it grapeseed powder or grapeseed flour. And that is a new industry to happen. I believe I can see it as a fortifying ingredient going into breads, into crackers, into supplements, in power bars, and so on. And completes the cycle of the grape. So there's zero waste food, which is another thing most food manufacturers cannot say. We actually have zero waste. And that's an amazing thing. So the whole world that produces wine in many wine regions, I am looking forward to working with many of them to incorporate these methods and start utilizing their waste and producing cold-pressed grapeseed oil, which is really super healthy. It's delicious. And in the end, you end up with another product, which is grapeseed flour.
That's great. Can you tell us a little bit about, I noticed there's recipes online for using these flours. How do you recommend using the flours right now?
Just treating it like an additive into a baked good. It goes beautifully with chocolatey, fruity, and nutty tastes. It has a beautiful cocoa cinnamony color. So maybe not for angel food cake, but for any hearty, nutty banana bread type of product or muffin. Great for pancakes. And truly, once you start tasting the richness that it brings to a baked good, you really have a hard time eating things without it. One of the things I wanted to say is as we talked about, we take the seeds, we press the oil out, and then we're left with our press cake. There's a lot of milling of press cake going on with other manufacturers. So you're left with the oil and the sugars that are in there. So it's not the same product. So we're really proud that ours is a cleaner option that's going to have a lot of more health benefits because you don't have the sugars to complicate it. It's high in potassium, high in fiber, high in soluble fiber, the one that's good for you, and antioxidants.
We actually done some studies and tests on making products with it on a small scale. So, for example, if you would do a cracker, or if you would do a cookie, or if you do a banana cake or zucchini bread or carrot muffin, the high content of antioxidants, which are in the grape seed, is actually helping that food, whatever you create, to increase the shelf life.
Yeah, so from a manufacturing point of view, that's a really big value.
Yes. So imagine you have a power bar that is freshly made of power bar and you have a couple of months shelf life. All of a sudden you would add 33% more shelf life to it. Or if you have something that needs a fiber dose or an antioxidant dose, it's a fortified food ingredient to really give the food industry a new superfood ingredient. One other target that we measured is the value of how these ingredients or these superfood measured. And they're measured by ORAC value. And some other food on the market that are known for superfoods, from apples to blueberries, and the ORAC value is a fraction of what our grapeseed powder or grapeseed flour is. So it's off the chart, and I think it's a great future product for many very nutritious and healthy food products to happen.
That's great. Are you seeking any partnerships, relationships with other specialty food brands, maybe even at the Summer Fancy Food Show?
Well, always. It's always a great opportunity to meet new products that are out there. Everybody's busy with their planning, and this is where they show it off. So for us to connect and see where it might fit in is always a great, new discovery.
Yeah, I can see the baking industry would be a very good potential for us. Also, power bars, nutritional companies, salad dressing, mayo manufacturers, anything that has an oil or a flour content that is looking at an alternative is a great opportunity to work with. And also, I think that the fats and oil industry, since it's very deregulated in this country, if you compare it with the rest of the world, where if something is cold pressed, that means the seed or the nut shouldn't be exposed to a temperature higher than it is in natural environment. And that's a way of defining, and also in our case, for example, the grape would know what to do in the vineyard in the summertime, even if it's a 90 or 100 degrees. So it will sustain that temperature.
Don't forget the grape is exposed to it, which the seed is deep inside the grape and the oil is deep inside the seed. So it has a lot of layers of protection. So that's never an issue, but we know that it can handle those temperatures.
So by doing that cold pressing, you actually get a food that is 100% bioavailable by the body. If you use solvent extraction, you have very high temperatures, and then you have chemicals that you need to use to refine the oil afterwards to take out what damage was done with the high temperatures. So again, the cold pressing is a much gentler way of extracting the oil, and there's no solvents, no chemicals involved. And then the filtering happens with a physical refining that we're doing. We use natural clay actually at the resources wherever the wine production is happening. So we do that in Italy, we do that in Portugal. And what you end up with is a delicious, light, nutty tasting oil that allows the chefs use as an ingredient to bring out the flavor of the food. So if you compare it with other oils, sometimes they have a greasy aftertaste, sometimes they're overpowering. And obviously olive oil is very dominating in the world when it comes to fats and oils. And I look at olive oil and grapeseed oil, they're like salt and pepper. As a professional chef, I use both of them. And but for the Mediterranean cooking, I would finish with the olive oil. But when it comes to all the other applications, from searing, salad dressings, and sautéing and frying, I would definitely use the grapeseed oil because of the high smoke point and because it brings out the flavor of the ingredient without any greasy aftertaste. And it's healthy too. I mean, that's the biggest ending point of it. You get something that energizes you and you feel good about it afterwards. And it's worth every penny to spend to have a good food made in every household.
That's great. Expanding out a little bit from the product and going more to the brand, how do you feel it has evolved over time from 2010, for example?
That's a good question. We've obviously had so many hurdles. I mean, if you think about from 9/11 to COVID to fires in Napa where we are, to floods and to earthquakes, we had to reinvent ourselves every time. And now we're at the point where we feel that recognition is happening all of a sudden.
Well, it's great that the consumer is realizing they have to look at what they're getting, inquire, really trust the people behind the brand. You know, we never used to step out or put us out there, but you know, on our email blasts, you know, we sign off with Nanette and Valentine, so they know there's people behind this product. We care. We want to bring them the best product. And I really, because I interface with the customers, if there's a problem, I get the call. And inevitably, we're able to solve what the problem is. And people end up being like so happy, and they're going to give it to their son-in-law because he's a chef. And we end up on a happy note. So that's all that counts. But they trust us. You know, they trust that they're getting somebody who puts all the effort into bringing the best product they can. So
I think branding is also important. We were lucky when we started the name search early on to get certain things in place. Salute Santé means to your health in French and Italian. And we chose that name, which means to your health, directly translated, because we feel it's one of the healthiest oil on the planet. And Italy and France will always be the leading wine producing country in the world. Even so, many other people will get to that point. And if California grows, so will Italy grow first. And if France grows, they always are competing. So we kind of salute to those two countries as our resources for the grape seed and the wine material from the upcycling of the grape seed. And we also secured grapeseedoil.com. And that was before .com was really .com. And now people can come, if they forget the brand name, Salute Santé, they can go to grapeseedoil.com and we would come up as the source. We've done a lot more direct to B2B business, also direct to consumers. We feel Amazon has helped us a lot to get into a consumer level that is growing nicely. We've also done a lot of help to smaller manufacturers who have a product where they need a lot of fat in there or a lot of oil. So if a salad dressing manufacturer wants to use Salute Santé as an ingredient on their packaging, it allows them to show their customers they're actually working with a very good top-notch quality oil, rather than just saying vegetable oil or canola oil or any of those inexpensive mass-produced oils that really don't help our health in this nation. And I think fats and oils are very important in the consumer's diet. And the consumer want to know what's in it and what's on the label.
We become so fat phobic as a society. It's like we want to stay away from fat. And if inevitably we'll have a bad fat because we want to treat. But really the fat brings out the taste. It's your taste buds that recognize the fat. And that's you need a good fat to really, let your body do its job.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We're excited. We have great recognition now with the Sophie Award. I think it's such a great honor. Mm-hmm. After 30 years, someone else is singing the song that you are the best in the industry, rather than us having to push the bar further and further. So we're very grateful for Specialty Food Association to have nominated us with the Gold Sophie for our cold-pressed grapeseed oil.
Past nomination.
And this is wonderful. We also won Oprah's favorite 3 times during this journey of making the grapeseed oil industry. And again, she can pick anything she wants. And so she picked grapeseed oil. And I think she liked the fact that it was cold pressed. Mm-hmm. And she also liked our infused grapeseed oils. We make a row of different, the finishing oils. A lot of chefs love it too. It's from lemon to roasted garlic to basil to rosemary to chili.
Mm-hmm. And white truffle and black truffle.
Yes, we now have truffle oils as well. And they're very powerful finishing oils because the grapeseed oil is so light on the palate. Mm-hmm. So when you introduce these infusions, and we make those infusions ourselves, we have our own process developed for it, you actually really taste that basil.
It's liquid spice.
You taste that roasted garlic. You taste that white truffle.
Yeah.
And we grow the basil and the rosemary ourselves as well. So
that's great. Thank you so much. So we're almost out of time, but before you go, we'd like you to participate in our final segment, Take 5. 5 questions for our guests. First, let's pause for a break.
This episode is brought to you by Wisconsin Cheese. There's a reason when you think of Wisconsin, you think cheese. Cheese is a huge part of Wisconsin's history and future. In Wisconsin, the state of cheese, the tradition of cheese-making excellence began 180 years ago, before Wisconsin was recognized as a state. Immigrants traveled to settle in this lush green hills of Wisconsin, bringing their cheese-making traditions with them. These storied skills, combined with the freshest milk available, created a cheese-making culture that is uniquely Wisconsin. Wisconsin's 1,200 cheesemakers, many of whom are 3rd and 4th generation, continue to pass on old world traditions while adopting modern innovations in cheese-making craftsmanship. Find your next favorite cheese at wisconsincheese.com.
Hello again, and welcome back. I'm George Hajar of SFA, speaking with Valentine and Nanette Humer of Food and Vine. Okay, here are 5 questions for our final segment. Take 5. 1. What is your favorite thing about the specialty food industry?
I love that you, in one space, get to see so many different potential buyers and customers, from retail stores to manufacturers to distributors. So you've got to be on your best game to catch anyone who comes by.
2. What's one thing the SFA has made easier for you as a specialty food business owner?
I think it's an opportunity that if you focus on doing the best you can of a product and you don't let anyone get you sidetracked, there's an opportunity for you to actually get the recognition, and you can grow your business, and you get buyers come to the place when you go to these shows to seek you out as the ingredient that they're looking for. And I think it's a great platform. We definitely welcome to keep this organization growing. And I would also, I want to thank him for the motivation that you get. It helps to get the media out there. And it's a great organization. We've been members for probably over 25 years, and we are grateful for what they're doing.
Great. 3, if you both weren't running a business, what would you be doing?
We wear a lot of hats in our business. That's what you get when you're a small family business. But I am the person going out there and making the contacts and selling the product. And if I don't sell, I probably would want to work in my garden or go to the mountain skiing and have a good glass of wine in Napa.
I'd have an antique store with floral arrangements, so 2 together.
What's one piece of advice you'd give a new food business?
Do a lot of homework, make a business plan, and figure out where you want to be in 5 years from when you start. And you recognize it's hard work. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. But if you stick to it and you have a good vision and a good product that you believe in, associate yourself with a great team, and I think there's a chance you can make it happen.
Great. And 5, how do you define specialty food?
I think it's food that's better than the regular norm. It's the category where each stands out the best of the best. It's not the mainstream food. It's this is why we love, for example, that we were able to step out from the oil category and actually create a grapeseed oil category, and that we won the gold trophy for the first grapeseed oil that was ever in that category, standing out. I think it's a good platform to fortify all these ideas and ingredients and products, and bring just the best of it, of each category out.
It's international specialty flavors. You know, that's what you can't get if you don't have a broad-based industry, and we are lucky to have it.
A big thanks to Valentine and Nanette Humer for joining us today. And you can find out more about the show at specialtyfood.com and heritageradionetwork.org. And remember to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Come back often to get to know the people who are shaping the future of food. Special thanks to Heritage Radio Network, the world's pioneer food radio station. This is Spill and Dish, a Specialty Food Association podcast.
Spill and Dish, a Specialty Food Association podcast, is powered by Simplecast. Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. Keep in touch at heritageradionetwork.org/subscribe.